of you, right? Please confirm this before I start on this. Oh, thank you. Let's start with this. So we had discussed still immutability in the last session, and we can continue with this actually format specifiers. We'll just quickly cover this today and then jump to the next topic after strings. We had already done with this loops, I believe, right? This range function and then for loop and nested loop, all that stuff. So here, if you see, we have already did some strings, and I believe we should be familiar with strings now to some level. Okay. So format specifiers in strings. What is this? See, this format specifiers concept. This exists even in C language. So if you want to, while printing this data in C language, we use this format specifiers. If it is integer, we use %d in C. If it is float, we use %f. If it is decimal, we use %lf. Something like this. Similarly, unsigned integer %u, like that. If it is Python, we rarely use this. It's not like we use this every time. It's not needed because I don't see people using it much in a real-time development. And here, but anyhow, just have an idea. Maybe if you want, you can use this. So for character, the format specifier is %c. For string, it is %s. For decimal integer, %i, and decimal integer, %d. For unsigned integer, it is %. You remember these things. Okay. So this is a quick idea about format specifiers. Got it right, friends? For character, it is %c. For string, it is %s. For signed decimal or just say decimal integer, it is %i. Decimal integer, again, we can use %d. Generally, we prefer more %d. And unsigned integer, it is %u. That's it, friends. Maybe if you ask me, remember this, that's all. See, if you ask me what are all these means, these format specifiers are used to represent data. So they are used to represent data in your print statements. That's all, friends. Then there is a quick question. What is signed and what is a unsigned? Signed means it accepts both positive and negative values. If you declare a data type as signed, so we can specify both positive and negative values. Unsigned means it is something which accepts only positive values. So that is difference between signed and unsigned. And here we have few more format specifiers. Just observe and just remember. We'll see few examples so that you get some idea. For octal integer, it is %o. For hexadecimal integer, %xr, small xr, capital X, anything is fine. Exponential notation, scientific notation, %e. And then for floating point, %f. For shorter of %e is %g. So exponential notation or this one. And then this one is also same. This is %g. Just remember, okay, these things, that's all. Let's see a small example, how to use this format specifiers with a small example. This you have to remember it. So format specifier means, as name says, it talks about the format of your data. So by looking at this format specifier, like for example, if you see for %s, you understand it is a string data. If you see %d, you should remember it is a int data. If you see %lf, it is a float data. %o, you should remember it is a octal data. Like that, by looking at this format specifiers, you should be able to understand what data is this. I hope this is clear, right? You should be able to understand what data is this. For example, you see these examples. We are just printing string, int, and float. Suppose I took an example of name ABC and age 30 and sal sum 2000. You know, right? If it is string, what is the format specifier we should use? %s. If it is int, what is that? We should use percentile D. I mean signed int. Signed int means which accepts both positive and negative values. If it is cell, what is that format specifier? If it is float, we should use percentile F. I hope this is clear for all of you friends, right? This is the simple idea. So now, while printing this data with format specifiers, this is the print statement we should follow. If you don't use format specifiers, then you know how to use print in Python. All of us know this because we almost did four weeks of Python sessions, right? So you should be very clear, right? So here this is the syntax of print statement while using this format specifiers, friends. Okay. So now this is the syntax. If you are seeing this, so format specifiers percentile variable, and then we have to close brackets and then complete this. So now the example is this. Suppose if you are using this data and if you are printing like this is how you have to declare your format specifiers here and your variables like this. This is somehow a C kind of programming. What kind of programming, friends? A C style of programming. What style is this? This is a C style. If you are a traditional C programmer who is switching to Python, this seems to be very simple for you. And this is not new for C programmers. But someone who is already new to this, you just have a quick idea like this. But a simple point here is these things we don't use much in a real time development. Okay, because I don't see anywhere in our code bases people using this, or we ourselves we do automations, right? We didn't see anything like this using in our day-to-day automations or any kind of testing. Okay, so that itself is a quick point to you, like quick point to remember that this is something we don't use regularly, friends. Is that clear? I hope clear for all of you, right? So let's quickly check this example so that you'll be more clear. Let's take this. Let's have a detailed, clear picture about it. Okay, what do you do right now is maybe this is string, right? I'll run here. Okay, in test file, I'll do that. So what do we do right now? Just declare three different varieties of data. So what is that? This is a string value, an int value, and a float value. Okay, like that we are declaring three varieties of data. 1 minute, friends. Yeah, sorry, friends. So these are all you know variables we are declaring. Now let's have a quick check. What is the format specifier we should apply for string here? The format specifier we apply for string is percentile s. For integer, it is a what is it? Percentile d. And for decimal, it is a percentile f. Right, friends? I hope this should be clear for all of you. So Now we want to print this. Let's apply print here. Print first in double quotes. So what is that you should do? You have to mention all format specifiers. And the order you should choose it. You want string first and age first and then string first and then age and then cell. Then percentile S, percentile D and percentile F. Now based on this what you do? Percentile, put a bracket and according to order of those format specifiers, print your variables. One is name, comma, second one is age, comma, third one is salary. Right? You can apply this. Now what do you do? Just print it. You can see here now. So this helps you to print in more readable approach. So when you use this kind of format specifiers, you can insert data wherever you want and print it, and this helps you to increase readability, friends. It increases a lot of readability in programming. Let's run this. Right click, run test, and you can see the data ABC 30 and then 200. Right, sorry, 2000. So this is how we can insert format specifiers in print statement, or we can add format specifiers in print statement. Is this clear now? So this is a quick idea, but I don't see people using it rigorously in a real application. Next one. These are escape sequences. Escape sequences means if you want to print line by line, then you should use /n. Okay, friends. And if you want to print horizontal tab, and I mean, if you want tab space, you should apply this. /b means it creates a bell sound. /r means carriage return. But among all this, we regularly most probably apply /n and /t. I don't see people using /b or /e and any other most of those escape sequences like /single quote or /double quote, all that. But which are most used escape sequences means /n and /t. Is that clear, friends? That is the, just remember, because we already applied this /n and /t, friends. And before that, this example should be clear for all of you how to use format specifiers. What I did here is I just followed the syntax. So first in double quotes, we should pass that format specifiers, and then after that, we should pass variables in the brackets, friends. Okay, separated with this percentile here. So that's all. Next one. Let's move to the next topic. This is fine. We already did this example, so no problem. String formatting. This we use very much in a real programming. This uh, placeholder stuff, right? This flower braces. So this we use a lot in a real code. So what do we do? So we have, as we learned in Python variables chapter, we cannot combine strings and numbers like this, right? Example, something like this. Age 36. And then you can see here, my name is John. I am some 36. So we cannot combine directly like this, right? If at all, if we should do, what is that you should do, friends? You have to convert this integer to string. And then you should apply this concatenation, right? So you cannot do it directly, right? So that's what happens here. But here it is saying one thing without this, but we can combine strings and numbers by using this format method. But usually if you do like this, what happens? We have seen an example. If you do like this, what happens? We had seen an example. What happens? It gets we get a compilation error if we try to add a string with integer directly. What is that we see, friends? We see a compilation error. But you can see here what Python people is saying here. Python people is saying we can combine strings and numbers by using the format method. That's what they were saying. Let's see that example now. So what format method does is it takes passed arguments, formats them, and places them in the string where the placeholders are. Okay, you can see this now. Maybe let us apply a small example and then understand this so that you get a clear idea. Now you can see this is a simple example. We have an age, and here we are applying this format specifier, friends. Okay, what we are doing, we are applying a format specifier. Okay, let us see how this format method works for us. Now you can see here. First, we are creating a placeholder. We will see this very clearly step by step. First, we do age. Another, my name is John, and I am. And see, wherever we want to combine this string with this integer. But friends, wherever we want to combine string with integer or string with any other type, then we should declare a placeholder there. You can see this flower bracers. This acts as a placeholder. What is that, friends? This acts as a placeholder. Okay. Then, while printing this text, this string, so just take the string, apply a format method on that, and whichever you want to combine, just pass that variable there. Just pass that variable there. This is just concatenating one operand or one value with the string. So this is a simple example. Similarly, we have another example how to combine or how to format multiple values with a string by using these placeholders. What is a placeholder? Placeholder is something where in place of this, some value will come and sit in place of this, or some value will be substituted in place of this placeholder. Okay, are you following, friends? So this is format specifier. What happens with format specifier? Format, see, first thing is formatting data with this placeholder operators. So what is this placeholder operator here? It is nothing but bracers here, opening and closing bracers. How do we do that? So for example, if you see here, let us just do this with a real example. Let's test it with a real example. Okay. So we can comment this for now. No need of this. Now you take one variable. If not age, anything of your choice. We should not take only age, some 40, and then some string, some text equal to. So in double quotes, you can say, so my name is, excuse me, friends. My name is John, or you can take anything of your choice, okay? And my age is, generally we should concatenate your string with something like with the age. But if we do this, do you think this works for us? Suppose you say print text, save this. Let's try to print this, run test. You can see an error. Why error? Because when you try to combine a string with any other type, and when you are applying this concatenation operator, plus operator, we get an error. We had already discussed this. Okay, then if I should combine this string with this int, I should use a string operator. String method, sorry. A conversion method. Now I should combine this string with the age by converting age to string by using this conversion method. I hope this is clear for all of you, friends. Right? We did this is example earlier. Now, if we run this, this will work for us. Maybe you can use some space, no issues. This is a simple example which we did earlier. Following, friends, are you clear on this? What's your name? Srinivas, are you following? Is this clear? So you can, please let me your feedback in the chat box. Okay, so this is a quick idea. But now, same thing you can overcome with placeholder. Instead of doing this conversion and then combining with the concatenating with string. Right, we can directly do that without doing all this by using this formatting approach. So what do you do right now? So my name is John and my age is, just apply this placeholder here. Just pass a placeholder here. So what we should do here, friends, we should apply a placeholder in place of that, wherever you want to pass a value. This is a dynamic approach. So now what should you do after this? Call format method on the string, text dot format of, and whatever the value you want to fill in that placeholder, just pass that variable in this format method. And this is so simple to use in this print statement. Now run this. Please run this, right click and then run test. Now you can see my name is John and my age is 40. This fits in so easy and so simple, and it makes more meaningful. So this is a quick idea. What is that quick idea, friends? How to use this format method, and how to use this placeholders in a simple Python program. And this we use a lot in a real Python programming. So we prefer to use this in a real code. I see, because people using that in a real code. Got it right? So this is a quick idea. I hope this should be clear. Let's do one more example. Let's try this example. You can see multiple values: quality, quantity, item price, my order. So you can see here. Let's take this now. This is the example. Let's test it. Maybe if you want, you can comment this or leave it as a alone. Okay. I'm comment. This is multi-line comment. You can see here. Now I am applying that. Right. So now this is the example to apply this placeholder. So we took three variables: quantity, item number, and price. Okay, friends. And we are just taking, I want dash pieces of, okay, dash pieces means quantity. How many quantity of pieces you want of item? Okay, for dash dollars. Okay, this is the example. Now we are applying format. This is where we need to fill in. In the first placeholder, you should fill in quantity. In the second placeholder, you should fill in item number. In the third placeholder, you should fill in price. Then what do you do? Just wherever you want to fill in this variables or to pass these values. Okay, here wherever you want to pass to fill in place of that, you just add or insert placeholders wherever that value should be substituted. Now on that variable, string variable, call format method and just pass your values according to the order you want to insert into this placeholders. So what do you do? Pass these values or variables according to the order you want to insert into this placeholders. Okay, right click, run test. Now you can say I want three pieces of items. Item 57 for $49.95. See, this approach helps us to manage, right, to format data in the most easiest way. So this is the greatest advantage with what is it, friends? Placeholders and format method. So this is much more used in a real scenarios. So we use this regularly, whenever needed in our real code. I hope this is clear for all of you. So I took some time because this is an important use case. So we spend some time on this here. So this should be very clear for you. So any questions, maybe you can ask me now, or you can keep it to discuss at the end of the session. Okay, anything is fine. This is a quick idea about format specifiers. I think we are done with this. So let's jump to the next topic. It's, now somebody asked me, so I think we are almost done with string concept, friends. So which is done here. We are almost done with the strings. If anything is there, we keep bringing that while discussing this string scenarios. But are you good till this, friends? Are you clear till this? Can I get an S from you? Uh, so are you clear with this format method, whatever we have discussed in today's session? Right? Right. Thank you. So thanks for confirming. Right. So this is all about strings. Maybe if anything is there, we keep bringing that in the coming sessions. Now, another scenario, this is actually not that much needed, because if you ask me in a real code, people don't use this that much of this, what shall we say, dynamic initialization. What they don't do. So this dynamic initialization, this is very much, this gives so much of happiness when we are doing this in colleges or at some other learning level. But if you ask me in a real environment, I don't think people use much of this dynamic initialization, because usually in a real environment, data comes in different formats through files or through UI or something like that. So it is very rare that we see people read values from keyboard and then do any processing. I hope this is clear for all of you, friends. So this is the quick idea. Anyhow, let's quick talk about it. But even though if it is not that much used in a real scenarios, but you can just have a quick understanding, like how to use this input method in Python. Okay. Generally, we have two types of dynamic initializations. So in 2.x, we use a raw input, and in 3.x, we use input method. So these are the two different types which we use in Python. What is that, friends? One is 2x, the other one is raw input and input. And raw input is used from 2.x. And input is in 3.x. Whichever the version we are using is 3.x. So there they prefer this. Maybe you can ask me, what is the difference here? We'll quickly see that. This probably by default accepts everything as string, I believe, or this one we'll see input. And this one accepts as is, I believe. We'll check that. Maybe we can check that. So now if you see, and let's start with input method. These are two methods as discussed, which we use to input values from keyboard. Let's see this input method. What is this input? Input is used to read a value from keyboard. And by default, the value we input by keyboard is treated as a string. So that's what happens with input. If it is raw input, I think it accepts an int as int, a string as string, a double as is, repeating the same statement. What is the difference between input and raw input is, so this raw input is similar to input. It also accepts values from keyboard. But the difference is what, friends? Raw input accepts when you enter something from keyboard, it accepts int as int, string as string, double as double, and you don't need to do any conversion here. Any conversion is not needed when you are working with this raw input. But when you are using input function, you need to convert that whatever you input from keyboard. If you are using input function, then it accepts that value as a string. When it values any value as a string, by default, whatever you input from keyboard, if it is treated as a string, then sometimes what we need to do, we need to convert a string to the required type by using this type conversion functions. Is that clear? What is that we should do? We should convert a string to required type by using this type conversion functions. This is clear. Understood, friends? So that is not needed for raw input, I believe, because I did test it some time back. Just a quick, difference. That's all, friends. Let's anyhow check this now. So what do we do right now? So we apply conversion functions. We just test this input function now. Let us see that and then see how it works and all that. Okay. Now, so you take some value, something like a. Let's do some sum of two integers. Let's input two values from keyboard. Let's see what happens. First input. You can directly just say like this. But if you just pass like this, there is a little, it won't be too good to understand. Let's see like this. And then C equal to A plus B, and then print C. Let's see this now. Now this is what we are doing here. We are doing a dynamic initialization. Maybe if we can say print enter A, print enter B. Okay, friends. Next. Now, when you are trying to input A, what is that we are doing? We are trying to say A equal to input. When you try to input B, we are saying B equal to input, friends. When we are adding and then we are printing. And this is what we are doing here. I hope this is clear for all of you. Now let's run this and see what happens. Run test, enter A, give some 10, enter B, give some 20. And then you got, so when we do addition, it is not adding, but what it is happening here, friends, it is simply concatenating these two A and B. Now you should understand one thing here, friends. What is that? Here, when you try to input A and B from keyboard, it is not adding or it is not performing arithmetic addition, but there is a simple concatenation being happening here. So what's happening here? Simple concatenation. Why concatenation? Because whatever you enter from keyboard, you entered 10 and 20. This 10 and 20 is taken as what? Those two, by default, they are accepted as string values. What happened here, friends? These two are accepted as string because that's what happens with input function. An input function accepts by default anything as a string from keyboard. It doesn't take int as int, double as double, string as string. That will be done by raw input method, which is in 2.x version. If you have installed 2.x as well in your machine, right, in your laptop or something, desktop, you can test that as well. But for now, in 3.x, we use input function, input method to dynamically initialize values. And in that case, friends, whatever you enter from keyboard, it is accept as it is as a string value. Anything you enter string, it is treated as string. You enter integer, it is treated as a string. You enter float, it is treated as a string. You enter complex, it is treated as a string only. Then you might ask a question. So how do we suppose I don't want it to be integer? It has to be sorry, I don't want it to be string. It has to be integer. What shall we do? Apply conversion function. How to apply conversion? Suppose if I want to convert this numeric string, what is this, friends? This is a numeric string. And now if I want to convert this to a number, or if I want to convert this to an integer, apply conversion on this numeric strings. So how to apply conversion? Simply here, while before adding, just simply say, if you want to convert this a to integer, pass this a to int function. Similarly, pass this b to int function. Now what happens? That a, which is a numeric string, gets converted to integer. That b, which is a numeric string, gets converted to integer. Now run this program. Enter a, sub 10, b 20. Now you can see what is this here, friends? You are seeing 30 here. Now you are seeing arithmetic addition happened here. Earlier, if you see, it is not arithmetic addition, but what happened here, friends? Here, concatenation happened, but now arithmetic addition is happening. Why this is, friends? Because here, once after we input values from keyboard, what we are doing, we are trying to apply this conversion functions and converting that string to required type. I hope this is clear, friends. And then we are applying addition. Then what happens, friends? This A and B is added and then assigned to the C. So when you print it, this time you are able to see a proper arithmetic addition happening. And why this is happening here, friends? Because of the conversion of A to integer and B to integer. Right? This is clear. Understood, friends? So now this is a quick idea, and this input can be used in multiple ways. Suppose you can see here. So here, this is one approach. I believe you understood this. Please test it. So this is how we work with dynamic initialization. If you want to input a value from keyboard in Python, what do you do, friends? So you have to use input function. That is one thing. Second thing is what is it? So whenever we input a value from a keyboard, it is treated as what, friends? It is treated as a string by default. And then what is that you should do? We have to convert it to required type by applying this conversion type conversion functions. Suppose if it is an integer, we should use int function. So in this example, what did we do? Step point 3. We have once after we input values from keyboard, we had applied this conversion and then we converted that string numeric strings to required integer by doing this type conversion. Okay. So, and then we did assign this result to the some variable C and printed. This is approach one. So in the same thing, we can do it in multiple ways. Here, this input, you don't need to pass this print here, not needed. We can pass, okay, let it be like that. So that you can have a you can compare that with this one. Okay. So this is example one. Maybe you can see same program, copy and paste it. See, friends. So this is not needed now because we can pass a print statement with this input itself, enter A. This is also allowed in Python. And here, even you can remove this. And if you want, you can pass directly a print statement inside the input like this, enter B. Okay. This is more optimized way to ask for ask for or prompting user to enter some value. Okay, friends. So I use input function like this and I am passing a print statement directly through input like this. Okay, this is also allowed in Python. Then suppose if you want this to be converted to integer, you can do this conversion here itself like this, something like pass this whole into this print, I mean input function to that conversion method like this. This is also one more best approach. Okay. Right. Similarly, here also pass this to this conversion function. Okay, friends. Now, while doing addition, you don't need to do another conversion. Simply say a plus b. and then printing, friends. Now you can see the difference between previous program and this program. We wrote 6 statements in the last program, but now we just completed this with the 4 statements. And what we did here, we just passed that prompt statement in the input function itself. That is one thing. Second thing, we also did the conversion, type conversion by in the same initialization statement itself. So what we do here, we almost reduced a few lines of code by just doing this kind of approach. Got it, friends? You can see now which one seems to be more professional for you. The first, this one or this one? This looks like my like writing a little of what is that at school level or at college level. And this is what you have to do when you are dealing in a real environment. You should reduce this code as much as possible in a real environment. Okay, this is a quick idea. Let's run this now. You don't see any big difference. The output will be the same as like how we got in the previous use case. Right click, run test, and you can enter 10 and 20 and then 30. You see here, right? So this is a quick idea, friends. Right? Please test it. Now you can see here. So we got the output as 30. Okay. So now what's happening here? We are trying to so you can see here the output. It's prompting us and taking input from keyboard, and then conversion happens, and then addition happens, and then printing is happening here. So all this is happening in just few lines. Just this accepting value from keyboard and conversion. All this happens in a single line. If you see here. Okay, and then we do addition and then printing. That's all, friends. Right? This is a quick idea. What is this? How to input values from a keyboard. Suppose you ask me, sir, I want this to be a double value. Then what should I do? Simple, right? Instead of int, convert it to a float method, friends. A equal to float of something and B equal to float of something like this. So now what you do? Convert this input value to float method. You can see the conversion function which we are passing here is a float function, friends. So what is that we should do? Just use a float function here and pass that input value from keyboard. Now run this, run test. So here you can give some 10.7 and 8.6, and then you can see a float output. The addition happened is a float addition. So all that what you should do when you enter something from keyboard here. So this by default accepts as string, right? This is clear for all of you, right, friends? This is clear. Whatever you enter from keyboard, it is treated as a string. So now, if you want to do a float operation here, convert that numeric string to float. If you want integer operation, convert it to int. If you want some other type, suppose if you want to convert this to some Boolean type or some other type, just convert it to that type. And see that. See, if your operation is addition, generally the value should be numbers. If it is something else, convert it to the required type and then do that processing. Here, as it is addition, either we convert it to int type or float type. Suppose if it is some other kind of operation, convert your values to that particular required type and then do the processing. This is the quick idea about a dynamic initialization of data, friends. Hope this is clear for all of you, right? So this is all. Now, let me quickly what about data type formatting? Data type formatting in sense, I didn't get that, Shankar. We have implicit data types, right? Date thing we'll discuss. Date is a separate scenario. We'll talk about it, Shankar, then. Okay. While dealing with date scenarios, I'll talk about date thing. Yes, date is there. There is a date concept. So we will talk about it. Definitely we'll talk about it. So now, before we jump to the next topic, that is data structures in Python. Okay, because that is a very important and core topic in Python. So let's have a quick discussion about type conversion functions. So simple. If you want to convert any type to int, then just apply int function, int method. That's all, friends. Suppose if you want to convert any type to float, use float method. Okay. If you want to convert any type to complex, use complex. Bool to bool. That's all, friends. And string to str. Apply str to convert any type to string. We'll see a small example. Someone, right? So mute your machine, friends. If anyone is have now this is a quick idea. Following now. So let's see a quick example so that you can easily follow this. See, type conversion functions, how it works. So what is a type conversion function here? Let us see this now. Type conversion functions converts any data to the required type. Suppose let's take example, something like 1. We use str function. We have already applied a string function. So what do we do here? Suppose you have int data and you want to convert to string type. So what do you do now, friends? Simply apply string function. Simply print. Otherwise, you do like this: b equal to str of a. Now what happened? This a, which is integer, is converted to string now. Got it, friends? This a, whatever is integer now, gets converted to string type. Okay. Now print it. Print a. First, you print it type, and then better you can see better to test it. Say type of a before conversion and type of B so after converting A to B, applying conversion. Now you understood, you understand. What is that you understand? So what is A first and then what is B after conversion? So this gives you a clear picture. So now let's run this now quickly. Now you can see here before conversion, the A is int type. After conversion, B is a string type. So what's happening here? The string function, whatever we are passing a string method, it converts this integer to string type. Suppose now maybe what you do is you can print a and you can print b. Okay, friends. Print a, print b. Let's run this now. Now what is this here? This 10 is a integer. This 10 is a string. And we printed that data type as well. What we can do is let's do like this otherwise. So this should make more sense for us. Right click. I think, sorry, leave that run test. Now you can see now. In the first case, A is integer and we are printing it. After applying string function, conversion function, A got converted to string and this is the data type it is showing as a string and then 10 is getting printed. Right, friends? This is a quick idea. Like, how to apply this conversion functions. And similarly, suppose this is float data. Now I want to convert this to float to string. Simply what you do, just pass that float variable to the string method. Then automatically that float gets converted to what, friends? String, and that is assigned to B. Now you can check now. Right click, run test. You can see here initially A is float and you print it. After conversion, B becomes string here. If you can see here, it is not anymore float. Now B is string here. If you see here, got it, friends? And you are printing B here. And this gives you a quick idea about what, friends, which is float and which is a string. And after before conversion, before applying this string, it is a float. After applying, it becomes string here. And internally, if you want to see this change, you can apply type function and check when it is float and when it is a string. Suppose similarly, I have a string here, a numeric string. See, again, one more important point is when you are converting a string to integer, the very important thing you should follow here is, friends, make sure that string, whatever you convert, is a numeric string. If you take a character string, you get an error. I'll show that to you too as well. But now I took a numeric string and then what I am doing, I am converting it to an integer. So if I should convert any data type to int, then what is that I should use? The conversion function should be int. And this conversion function converts as not only string, converts any type to to integer. Any type. It's not just only string. It converts string, it converts double, it converts, I'm not sure about, it also converts Boolean to string, sorry, Boolean to int. But I believe, I doubt if it can convert complex or not. We'll check it, no issues. So now use int function to convert this string to integer. But the string you are passing here, this has to be a numeric string. If it is a character string, you get an error. I'll show you that now. Pass this to int. Now run this. This works, no issues. Before passing, the value of A is string and we are printing it. After converting, that string got converted to integer here. So I hope we don't have any problem here, right? So after converting, again, you can see a difference. And one quick important point you should check here is, suppose I say ABC. My string is ABC. Is this, do you see any number here? No, no number, right? All these are characters. This is numeric. This is a character string, not a numeric string. Even if it is alphanumeric, still that is not recommended to convert, because alphanumeric or character strings cannot be converted to numeric types. Is that point clear? But only a numeric string can be converted to either int type or float type. That's all, friends. But if you do anything else, any other conversions like this, like a character string or alphanumeric string, if you try to convert them to numbers, it leads to some error. Now see here, right click, run test. You can see what value, what is that error you are seeing here? You are seeing value error. Invalid literal for int with base 10. See, it is saying this is not a right format. You choose the right format if you want to convert it to integer. That's what it is saying, friends. Is this clear now? Right. So what should we do here, friends? What should we do? What is the fix here? Here, this string has to be a numeric string, but not a character string or alphanumeric string. Is that clear for all of you, friends? So that is a quick idea. Right. So make sure you note this point, friends. Right click, run test. This will work now. No issues. Suppose you have a decimal here. Now I want to convert decimal to integer, right? Right click, run test. Now you can see before conversion A is a float. After conversion B is an integer. What happened now here? We see that what happened here, friends? We see that float got converted to int type here. What is that? Float got converted to int type. Understood, friends? So that fraction is removed here. In the second case, what happened? Fraction is removed. Right? This is a quick idea, friends. Okay, right click and then run test. You can see the output. So here float got converted into int and this fraction is removed here, friends. So this is how we work with the conversion function. Suppose there is an integer. Now I want it to be float. Then you can simply say float of that parameter. Now test it. Now what we are doing here? Here we are converting an integer to float here. What we are doing here, friends? Converting integer to float. So what happens now? Let's see. Now before conversion, the value of A is 10. After conversion, whatever the converted value to be, it became float here. You can see type changed internally, and also the 10 is converted to decimal. You can see that precision is added this in the second this thing you can see here. So when you print B, B has a precision now. In the first case, we don't see any precision for int. So this float method converts this any type to float type. Got it right, friends? Similarly, in few cases it might work, it won't work. You can pass a value and test it. If it is doing the conversion means it is allowed. If it is throwing any error means that is not allowed. Just remember that that is the easiest equation you can remember. Okay. So now we have seen converting string, converting int, converting float. Now what you can do, friends? Now you can take complex. Converting to complex. Okay. Let's try this. Now you can see here that value A got converted to complex here. Now in the first case it is int. Now in the second case it is complex. Following, friends. So what's happening here? You are passing an int value. So when you say complex method, when you pass that to complex method, that int is getting converted to complex number here. You can see here. So it is adding that real and imaginary part here. So real is 10 and imaginary is 0. It's because you didn't pass imaginary, right? So what's happening here? It is accepting that 10 and then adding that that imaginary as well. So 10 plus 0j. You can see this number is converted to complex type, right? So this is what happens when you apply complex method, right? And then you can see here before conversion A is int and after conversion B becomes complex because we are applying a conversion to complex here, right? And then also we are seeing the type functions by passing using type functions. We are seeing what is that data internally. Is it an int? Before conversion, what is that? After conversion, what is that? And we are seeing all that here, friends. So that should be very clear for all of you. So now we are able to see conversion of string, conversion of int, conversion of float, conversion of a complex, and one more is Boolean. Let's take Boolean. I think you are clear with all this, right, friends? Are you good with this? Right? Can you please answer in the chat box? Is this clear for all of you, friends? Also, you please do it, test this along with me. Okay. Please keep testing it along with me. Next one after this is what is it? Check. Let's check for boolean. Apply bool function. Now bool means true or false, right? Yes, sir. What is bool? Bool means true or false. But now I am passing integer to bool. If I pass integer to bool, what happens? So if it is either any non-zero, friends, negative or positive, minus 10, plus 10, minus 1, plus 1, it is treated as true. Any positive or negative value except 0. 0 is only false. Other than that, anything you pass to this bool method, they are treated as true. Else that only 0 is treated as false. Now see what happens here. What happens here, friends? Here, I think you understood my point, right? This statement, what we discussed now. Apart from 0, anything you pass to bool function, it is converted to, it is treated, it is converted to true. Now see this now. Now you see. So before conversion, that A is what, friends? So before conversion, A is int. You see here, friends. And after conversion, you can see that that got converted to bool. B is bool, and that too it is true. So what is the point here? Any value other than 0. Suppose you pass 0 and run this. Now you are applying bool conversion, right? So what happens? That 0 itself is false. Other than 0, you pass anything, it is treated as true, friends. So if you pass any value to the bool function other than 0, anything is converted to true. Suppose you take minus 10. Okay, now run this. Now you can still see true here. It is negative or positive value, it doesn't matter. But what matters here, if it is 0, then only in that case that bool converts it to false. And in all other cases, it is treated as a true. I hope this should be clear for all of you friends. Understood now? So what do you do right now? That's all, friends. This is all about conversion functions. Understood now? I think we covered all scenarios with bool as well. What is that scenario, sir? We took some negative value and pass it to bool method, and you see that that got converted to true. We took 0 and pass it to bool method. We see that that is converted to false. We see that we pass some positive integer and pass it to bool function. We see that again it is converted to true. This itself shows that what is that? To a bool method, if you pass 0, other than 0, anything is converted to true. But if you pass 0, only 0 is treated as false here. So that we should be very clear when you are doing these conversions. Understood, no? So that's all about this conversion functions, friends. Clear now? Right, that's all about this conversion functions. Now you can see here. You know what is int, what are conversions, and how to do conversions in Python. What is int method? What is long method? What is float method? What is complex? What is bool? So now you should be clear with all these, friends, right? Yes, sir. No. So I hope this should be clear for everyone, and we have done a clear analysis. So now in this session today, what did we do? We are able to cover formatting with strings, and then we are able to cover dynamic initialization. We are able to cover type conversions. Okay. Now the next topic we should jump today, maybe tomorrow, because today we are almost at the end of the session. So this already we had discussed, right? In and not in, and is and is not. This we had discussed it in the last week's session. Okay, that is, I believe last week we had a session on which one? On Saturday, not Sunday, because Sunday I wasn't well, so I couldn't take the session. I don't. We are recording, right? Yeah. So next one, let's take data structures. Maybe we'll just have a quick intro to this and then stop this session today. Right? Collections are data structures. I think we did all this, right? We applied for and we applied range functions. I have shown some patterns also for you, right? I think we did this. Can you please confirm if we have just done these basic patterns, all this, right? Can you please confirm with me? Yeah, thank you. Anyhow, if anything is needed, we will do a separate, what shall I say, a separate logic session. So if you want, we can add one separate session to that, not a problem. So you can come up with that requirement. We'll do that, no issues. So now I told, right, maybe I'll plan one particular session for logic solving, like on different concepts we have learned so far, we had discussed so far, so that gives you application of all those topics. So it will be a better exercise for everyone. Okay, one session we'll plan that. We'll maybe after doing data structures we will do that. That's a good thing for everyone. So it will be a good exercise for you also. It's not just for me, for you also. Now collections, what is this? So if you talk about any real-time programming, you can't imagine without collections or data structures of Python, right? What is the data structures of Python? Data structures of Python is nothing but something like list or something like set or something like dictionary or something like tuple or something like set. Okay, sorry, bytes or something. But the most used data types are dictionaries. Remember, just maybe make a note of this if you want. Whatever I'm trying to, you know, share with you. So these are most used things. Okay, maybe you can make a quick note of it for any interviews as well, because sometimes in interviews they might ask these questions: what kind of collections you are using, and they ask these differences. What is difference between a dictionary and list, or list and set, or some less set and all this stuff. So the most used data structure is, excuse me, yes, dictionary and list. Set somehow, of course, people use all data structures except few like bytes or this kind of things. So people use a lot of tuples, lot of lists, to some extent sets, and most lot of dictionaries. So maybe these are most used data structures in a development. Okay, in your day-to-day development, because these are essential and needed. Okay, there is a quick idea. Now, what is collection? First of all, before talking about all this, you might get a question. So, without discussing all this, Manoram is to jump to this dictionary and set and list and tuple, but he didn't inform us anything about all this. Yeah, I'm just only giving you a quick idea. Just note it, but you can forget it, you can ignore it, you can whatever you want to do, you will do it. Now, by the end of this data structures, sorry, I am very sure you will be very good with all this. And this is one of the most sought after concept in a real coding. This is very much needed in real applications. Okay. You cannot imagine a code without data structures, friends, or collections. And the question is, today we'll take intro. What is a collection? Collection means what? Name says. Already we have some idea about one or two collections. What is that? String. We already discussed string concept, and you should be familiar with strings, friends. What is that? You should be familiar with the string. What is string now? String is a collection. Maybe you can ask me a question. How come it is a collection? It is a data type, right? I agree. But if it is a data type, in a string, how many characters are there? Is it just only one character or multiple characters? Multiple characters, right? When you have multiple characters, then what is it, friends? It is a collection, right? What is it? It is a collection. Collection means group of values. It might be a character, group of characters, group of integers, group of decimals, group of complex, group of or mix of all these values. That's what collection, right? Group of any of these values, and these values are nothing but data, right? Right. What is data in a program? What do? You deal with this data, and that data we group into collections. And collection is nothing but representing group of objects. Of course, in Python, everything is an object. In fact, more than Java, more than C Sharp or any other program, OOP, object oriented languages, Python is the most pure object oriented. See, in these examples, see here, friends, even when we test our data types, it is a class type. It is not a primitive or built-in. Anything, anything you see in Python, anything, it is object type. It is object type. Means what? Object type means all these are objects. Your values or your data types, everything is an object here. Okay. So that's why point is simple. That values you can call them as objects in Python. So what is a collection? Collection means what? You put some group of items into that. That is a collection. That items here are objects. So that is a collection. Simply speaking, a collection is representation or representing group of objects as a single entity. That is a collection. That's all. Like group of integers, group of strings, or group of characters. All this is a collection. Okay, it can be of any type. You know, right? How many types are there in Python? You have int type, float type, double type, long type. Okay, and then also character type or string type, all that. You can create any kind of collection there. That is one thing. Now, what are all different collections we have in Python? We have bytes. This is anyhow not used much in a real coding. Bytes is one collection. And then list. This is from here. These are all very useful collections. List, tuple, dictionary, and set. The most used collections in a real development. Learn this as much as possible. Work out as many scenarios as possible on these data structures. Anyhow, I'll share you many I mean exercises. Maybe you can deal with all that, so you become familiar with these collections. Okay, so these are all different types of collections. What we have bytes and I think one more is array byte. You should see somewhere byte array. Yes, and then all these four. And there will be one frozen set or something, one more kind of collection. That frozen set or this array byte or byte, we don't use much of this. Anyhow, we didn't start the topic. Maybe if you just have a like thought like Manoram is going fast here. I'm not going fast here, friends. I'm just giving a quick high level idea, like which are very important, which are not, which just you need to know, which you need to master. I am just only giving a heads up of all this. Okay. So I hope this is clear for all of you friends. Understood now? So bytes you nothing much important because I don't see people using it much. And then byte array, I don't see this much. Frozen set, we don't use much, but master this for become experts in these four data structures, applying these four data structures along with all the concepts we have discussed so far, then that will be more than enough for you to do Python automations. Okay, friends. So that's all, friends. That is for today. We'll start with data structures tomorrow. Any questions, you can stay back. I hope you are clear with all this. Maybe before you leave, I know this is Saturday, right? You will be having many other works like me. So quick questions are maybe if you want, you can answer quick questions. What is that? So what did we discuss in today's session? Format method, right? So you remember, right? when you are applying format method, you need to use placeholders plus format combined together. Is that clear for all of you? Second thing is we had discussed about dynamic initialization. So for that we use input and raw input. Raw input anyhow we don't use much because it comes from 2.x. Okay, so we use most of the time people prefer to use input from 3.x. Okay. So and then after that, what did we discuss? We did discuss about another scenario. What is it? What is the last concept we discussed in today's session? Type conversions. We understood different types of type conversions what we have in Python. Yeah, somebody is asking a question. Yeah, somebody is asking a question. Yes, yes, sir. What is that? Please let me know. What is the question? Hello. Somebody is asking question. I think I lost track of that. Your voice. If anyone is asking a question. So tomorrow's session will be a good session because we are going to talk about data structures. Very useful and very much needed if you want to start with Python anywhere. Even if you are a tester, this is important. So that's for today. If you have any questions, please ask me. Otherwise, we'll close this session here. No questions, right? Then okay, we'll catch up tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, hi Manoj.
Yes, yes, Harish.
Yeah, just I want to know only the raw underscore input is the command, like input command, just to check it.
Sorry, input.
Input we already discussed it. Is it a raw underscore input command? To
For all, I didn't get the question. Harish.
for the raw input is also there, right? Like how we are taking the
Correct.
values. So is it a raw underscore input or raw input?
I think it is raw underscore input. It's not raw input and it won't work in 3.x. It works in 2.x version of Python. If at all, if you want to work with that, you have to download 2.x version from the where we downloaded 3.x from the same place. And then you can test it if you want. Okay.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
I doubt if it work here. Let me show you if you want. I
think
doubt
not working maybe.
it won't work. I told you, right? It won't work in 3.x. Maybe if you see, yeah, you can read a value like, let me just show you. Let's comment this. We don't need this now. So what we do is you take a value and say underscore input. Enter it. It won't work. I doubt this works. Enter it and then,
yeah, it is giving in red color. I think it will not work.
Yeah, that's what. You have to download a 2.x version and test it. Yes.
Okay.
And that is decommissioned, I believe. 2.x is decommissioned. Nowadays, people are not using much of 2.x. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Maybe you can, but still you can download and test it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Or else somewhere in the online you can, just check for that.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Oh, you see, we are finding an error. Let's run this anyhow. We'll see an error. What is it? You can see. Just a minute. It's showing error here, not there. Run test. You can see now. What it is saying?
Is not defined.
Yeah, that is not there in 3x. You can test it in 2x. That's it. Any other questions, Harish?
Nothing.
Anybody has any questions? No, right? So shall we stop this now? Okay, friends, then we'll catch tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.